Hi dear. So last class we have seen the transportation in plants and we have covered this transportation of water and minerals taking place in the xylem tissue, right? So today we'll see this transportation of food from the leaves to all parts of the plant. Okay, so it happens through, you know, that it is through the phloem. So it's happening in both upward direction as well as in the downward direction. So food may be like energy, for energy food may be required for any place of the plants, right? So it is both way, in both ways, in upward direction as well as downward direction, in the sideways also it will happen, right? So first we'll see a few things about the phloem, then we'll move to the by what mechanism it is moving. Okay, so phloem it is a complex permanent tissue which helps in the transport of food throughout the plants wherever needed. Okay, so it is made up of 5 types of cells. Usually they said 4, and in the last year we have studied that it is made up of 5 types of cells. So I mentioned like this separately, the seed tubes as well as seed plates. Okay, so the 5 types of cells are seed tubes, seed plates, companion cell, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. Okay, so you know that xylem is a fully maximum it is made up of dead cells, and likewise phloem is made maximum it is made up of living cells. Only this phloem fibers, it is a dead cells. Okay, that is thick wall, it's only meant for mechanical strength. Okay, so you know that remaining cells are made up of living cells, and this seed tubes, you know that it is a thin wall tube like structure, right? It helps in the vertical conduction of food, right, moving upward or downward. Okay, so this tube like structure will be connected end to end, right? Connected end to end. So you will have a end wall, this end wall, right? It is actually, if you look from the top, it will be like this. So you will have some perforation, it is just like a sieve. Okay, so that is your sieve plate. Okay, wherever this end walls of the cell meet, you will have a sieve plate, right? End wall of the sieve tube which is porous in nature. Okay, through that the food will, the soluble things will move, right? So you know that companion cell, it is associated with the tube cells. So you know that most of the organelles are diffused here, and it becomes it has only very thin wall, right? So to support this, to support all the actions of this sieve tubes, so companion cell is associated with that. Okay, it has nucleus. Okay, it will act as a it will help in all the actions of the sieve tubes. Okay, because this sieve tubes does not have nucleus, so how does it will function means it get the help of the companion cell. Okay, phloem fibers, it is meant only for the mechanical strength, and phloem parenchyma. So phloem parenchyma, it is used for the storing of food as well as for lateral conduction, that is conduction of food, that is in sideways. That is in the sideways it will move the food particles, and in upward and downward direction the sieve tubes will take care of that. Okay, so this is about the phloem and how the movement of the phloem, food is taking place in the phloem. Okay, in xylem it is happened by only the physical force, that is transpiration pull, or we can say suction, and also the root pressure. Okay, from the top you will get the suction pressure, suction or pull, we can say transpiration pull or suction. From the bottom it has some root pressure. So it is only physical forces involved in the xylem, movement of water and minerals in the xylem tissue. Okay, so what type of mechanism is involved in this phloem means it is your translocation. Okay, translocation. What does mean by translocation? The transport of soluble products of photosynthesis. That is, whatever the byproducts of the photosynthesis, what is that? Glucose, mainly sugar, right? from leaves. Where it is formed? From leaves, where they form to other parts of the plants. Okay, transport of soluble products of the photosynthesis from leaf where they form to other parts of the plant. This is known as translocation. Okay, not only the products of the photosynthesis is transported, other things also like amino acids or whatever food is not used by that immediately. It is sold as a starch, right? So the besides the product of the photosynthesis, it's transport amino acids and excess food and other substance to the where? Storage organs. What are the storage organs in the plants? Roots, fruits, seeds, and the growing organs are the storage organs of food. Okay, so it can store excess food and amino acids and other substance, or wherever it is needed it will be transported. Okay, so you know that translocation of food takes place through the phloem in both the upward and the downward direction, because it may occur in the root, or it may occur in the stem, or it may occur in the meristematic tissue, in the flower, in the for the buds to grow. So it takes place in both the upward and downward direction. Okay, translocation in phloem is achieved by utilizing energy. You know that in the xylem it is only physical force. Okay, energy is not required. That's why this xylem is made up of dead cells. If you want energy, the cells should be alive, right? In case of xylem tissue, it is only dead. It is not energy is not required. Only by physical force, by root pressure, or by suction or pull, it is moved, right? But in case of translocation in phloem, it needs energy. When it needs energy means the cells must be alive. That's why most of the parts of the cells of phloem are alive, living cells. Okay. Next, how this mechanism is happening. Okay, so the mechanism of translocation. What is this actually? That is wherever the food is more and excess food is there, it will be transported to some other place wherever it is needed, right? That process is happening in 5 steps. Okay, we are going to see that steps only. The sugar are translocated from the source cell. Source cells means what? The region where the excess sugar is present, right? To the sink cell. Sink cell means where it is required, where the energy is required. For example, in the region of growing parts, for the flowers, for the fruits. Okay, like that. To the sink cell, that is region where the sugar is needed. It happens in 5 steps. Okay, what are those 5 steps? First, loading, osmosis, bulk flow, unloading, and again osmosis. So the osmosis again. Okay, so we'll see all this thing in detail. Okay, first, so you know that in the vascular bundle both the phloem and xylems are present in the same case, right? In the bundle, right? So you know that your xylem will be here, means for example, and your phloem will be here. Okay, so this is your sieve tubes. Okay, this is your end wall. In the place of end wall, your sieve plate is there. So through this soluble products will be moving, right? So this is your phloem, and this is your xylem. Okay, here only thick wall is present. Only water is there. Water and dissolved minerals will be there. Okay, this is your phloem. So you are having a sieve tubes and your sieve plates, and you will have a companion cell. Along this companion cell, which has nucleus, is associated with this sieve tubes, right? After that, you will have some phloem parenchyma. Okay. So for better understanding of this translocation, I have drawn only the companion cell. Okay. So for example, here your leaf is here. Okay, your leaf is here. here lots of sugar is present. Because of the photosynthesis, it's lots of lots of sugar is present here. Okay, for example, I am going to draw this with the dots. So many sugar molecules are present here. Okay, so what is the first process in the mechanism of loading? Okay, from the source cell, this is the source cell, from the leaves, for example, it has to transport to this cell here. Okay, so how it will be transported? From the source cells, it will enter the phloem. Okay, it needs lots of energy to absorb all this. When it needs some energy means it needs the sugar means when it needs the sugar means it needs some energy to absorb all this thing, right? That's why this phloem tissue is active. Okay, so this lots of sugar is absorbed, loaded from this source cells into the phloem by active process. Active process means it needs energy. Okay, in case of xylem, it needs only the physical flow, it does not require any energy. Okay, so from how this, it does not have any nucleus, how then this sugar will enter this place? First it will enter this companion cell. Okay, it will work, right? It is alive, right? It's provided with the nucleus, right? First it will enter this, companion cell, and then it is moved to the seed tubes. Okay, seed tubes. Now the concentration of the sugar is more here. Concentration of the sugar is more here. What happens? This is a loading process. Once the concentration of the sugar is more here, what will happen? In the nature, it will try to make balance, right? Here it is very concentrated, so it will try to balance this pressure, right? So balance the concentration, right? So what happens? The water will flow from xylem to the phloem through osmosis to make it equal. To make the concentration equal, what happens? By osmosis. You know that from lower concentration area to higher concentration area, the water will move. So from xylem, water will be moved to the phloem. Now what happens? Because of the water entering the phloem, this area becomes pressurized, right? It gets pressurized. Okay, so automatically due to pressure, it starts moving to the lower pressure. Because there is no sugar, the concentration is very less, so it automatically it will flow. Okay, not only the sugar molecules will flow, full sap, that is the full liquid sugar solution along with the things will move. That is called your bulk flow. The third process is your bulk flow. After loading, osmosis is taking place. After this osmosis, because of the water pressure, a bulk flow is happening here. So these will move to this place. Okay, when it finds the low energy area through the companion cell, through the from this, now it is concentrated here, so it enters the companion cell, and then unloading of all the sugar molecules taking place. Okay, now this place became empty because less ions, because all the sugar molecules are unloaded to this low energy area. Okay, low pressure area, because there is less concentration of sugar. Okay, there is so once it is unloaded to this place, it becomes less concentration. So by nature, the water again moves to this higher concentration. That is when compared to this place, when it is moved totally, more water will be there. To make it equal, again the water will move to the xylem. That is by osmosis. Less concentration to high concentration area. Okay, so these are the 5 steps happening there. What is that? Loading of sugar molecules from the source cells to the phloem. Okay, because of the concentration, by nature it should not be like that. So by osmotic pressure, to make it equal concentration, water will flow from xylem to phloem. Because of the pressure exerted by the water here, it will try to move to the lower pressure area. Lower pressure area means there is only few molecules will be there, no sugar is there. So when it is required, it is low pressure area, so automatically a bulk flow will be there, and then when it reaches the low pressure area, all the molecules will be absorbed here through the companion cell. It will be unloaded to the place where it is needed, and again through the osmosis process, the excess water in the phloem will flow back to the xylem. This is the process of translocation. Okay. So what is happening here? Loading. The source cells load the sugar into the phloem. That requires energy. That's why it is called active process. Okay. Then osmosis. As the concentration of the sugar increases in the phloem, water enters into the phloem from xylem, which has a lower concentration than phloem. Because of the lower concentration, osmosis means what? The water will move from lower concentration area to higher concentration area. Bulk flow. As water flows into the seed tubes of the phloem, it exerts high pressure on their walls, and this pressure moves the sugar to the other cells with low pressure, that is to the sink cell. Sink cell means what? The place where more energy is required, right? That is in the growing part of the leaves, growing part of the buds, fruits, etc. Unloading. Once it reaches the low pressure region, sugar gets unloaded from the phloem into the required cell. Okay. And the last step in this translocation is osmosis again. Since the concentration is low in this phloem, so the water moves back to the xylem by osmosis. Clear on this? These are the 5 steps involved in the translocation process in phloem. Clear? Hope you understand. Thank you.